the angel Gabriel came to Mary, a young woman, and proclaimed to her that she would give birth to a son. And she did not know how this would be possible. And the angel said to her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore the child to be born will be holy. He will be called the Son of God." And Mary, the young woman, received the news from the angel Gabriel that she would give birth to a baby boy who would be holy, the Son of God. And her response to this news, that she would be given this honor to give birth to a baby out of wedlock in a time and in a place where certainly that would be not necessarily good news for most young women. Her response to this was, "Here I am." That was this young woman's response to the angel. "Here I am, the servant of the Lord, and let it be with me according to your word." And then the angel left. Christmas time and Epiphany is the time when we tell the story of the birth of Jesus, the coming of the wise men to leave gifts for the babe, the shepherds hearing the good news and rushing to see this babe. It is a time of joyous celebration. But I think it is important to remember Mary's response to the news. "Here I am, the servant of the Lord." And the reason I think this is so very important in the midst of this time we find ourselves living in, this time of uncertainty and anxiety, is that you and I, like Mary, who get news that sometimes is not welcome, not to say that Mary found the news from the angel to be unwelcome, but you and I certainly have been recipients of news that we have not found welcome. And our response to this, in my opinion, ought to be the same as Mary's. "Here am I, the servant of the Lord." Because you and I, as Christian people, have a responsibility and role to play in this time in which we find ourselves. And that responsibility is to be a people of hope, a people who look forward into the future, a people who look into the present and see God active, not absent, but active. Active in the kindnesses that get imparted to you or to me, or the kindnesses that we give to others. The blessings of being connected to something much larger than the events that we find playing out in our lives. You and I, you see, we know that there is something much bigger than the events taking place and the people doing them. There is God, there is Jesus, there is the Holy Spirit, and we have been claimed by them. And so as you and I celebrate the birth of the Christ child, this Jesus whom we follow, then let us be like Mary, and let us be servants at this time to serve God, to continually bring to people the message of good news, that yes, there is hope, and yes, and yes, and yes, that God has given us a reason to rejoice, and yes, that God has said yes to you and me and to the whole world. God bless you and keep you during this time.